So do we know exactly what it is that Fox has injured, or do I just have to donate, like, my entire lower half? I mean, you have an office chair with rolly wheels. That's basically the same as legs. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to talk about Game 16 of the regular season, where the Rangers lose 6-3, although it was really more like 4-2 because a bunch of extra empty net shenanigans. It was 4-2 for all intents and purposes. And yeah, this was probably the worst defended game the Rangers have played all season. I don't think that's a stretch at all to say. The offense showed me nothing too much impressive. It was just an off night for the Rangers as a whole. Somehow the Rangers end up with 33 shots. I do not know how that happened. Give Scott Wedgwood all the credit in the world. He played well. He made the saves he had to make. The Rangers just, for a while there, and the only two goals that they had were just so... I say the only two. They had the Barclay Goodrow goal. The first two goals for the Rangers were just kind of fluky and not awe or confidence inspiring. You have the Trocheck goal in the first period that came off of a power play. It was a wraparound. Though that's not, like, good job for picking up on it. You caught the goalie sleeping. That was basically the only mistake I feel Wedgwood made tonight. You caught him sleeping. Cool. The second one, the Kakko goal, was, and I'm not trying to beat up on Kaapo Kakko because I know he's having a rough start to the season, and if he were able to get going, that'd be great for the team as a whole. It was the definition of fluky. It goes off of a Dallas stick directly into the net. He wasn't trying to even put it on net. It just kind of happened. They were having puck luck, and after that, it was just all downhill for the Rangers. Less than a minute later, you had a Jamie Benn goal, and I'm going to be critical of a player who I hate being critical of, because it feels like every time he makes one little tiny mistake, a lot of people jump down his throat. K'Andre Miller. I love K'Andre Miller with all of my Ranger fan heart. He is probably my second favorite player on this team. But, dear God, you just can't do that. I understand you want to be aggressive, and he is definitely... I think his defense gets lost because he's a big physical player and obviously an offensive threat. And if he really... The sky's the limit for K'Andre Miller, and I just want to see him continue to grow. I understand that his instinct is to go offense. You're already up 2-0. You're over halfway through the game. Just be defensive-minded. You can't step up and pinch there. He does. Dallas takes it the other way. It's a 3-on-1. Trouba does anything he can. You can tell that Shesterkin was having to cheat a little bit, like out and blocker side, thinking about pass, but instead Jamie Benn snipes it. Nice goal. Dallas is on the board, and then it just snowballed once he got into the third period. You had Joe Pavelski. I believe the Joe Pavelski goal was the massive rebound that Shesterkin gave up, and this is where we go to another young defenseman. I hate doing it because, like, I just feel bad for Zach Jones. The Zach Jones experience in New York has not been good. He needs to just go elsewhere and get a fresh start. I hope he's the move of the deadline. Not because I want him gone. I think he has potential to be a solid defenseman. But it's just not going to be here, and we know that. He got worked over twice in this game by this goal where he just left Joe Pavelski wide open off that rebound. Now, that was a really juicy rebound for Igor Shesterkin. That's like the closest thing to a mistake I feel that Igor Shesterkin made tonight, was that Pavelski goal, because it was a big rebound. Did everything he could to try to get over to it, couldn't. Then you have the Mason Marchment goal. It was a power play for Dallas. He's on top of it. Mason Marchment looks down. No one's around him. I understand they're on a power play. I would like K'Andre Miller to have been a little bit more in him. In his back with a stick. That's what I meant to say. We're just going to keep going because it is midnight, and I'm not reshooting that. I would like him to be a lot more physical. I would like him to play tighter defense on Mason Marchment on that play. This is all staying in. We're rolling on. I'd like him to be closer to the play. Instead, Mason Marchment is just alone, standing over top of Igor Shesterkin, who's in the butterfly with the puck kind of loose. I don't think it was goaltender interference. It was a smart play for him to just... By the way, him just, like, smacking the pad was kind of hilarious. I understand that it was a goal, but that is really funny. You then have the Tyler Seguin goal, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm they're giving it to Tyler Seguin. This was Zach Jones all over Tyler Seguin. I don't know how he physically was able to play here. Zach Jones just... It's time. I believe he was a -3 tonight. He was on for one of the shorthand, or one of the empty netters. I'm not going to say anything about the empty netters because, like, obviously, what is there to say about those? The defense just didn't play well tonight, and sadly, it's from one of your better defensemen and Zach Jones. I'm not going to go too critical of it because it's one game. I have not noticed Keandre Miller defense. That's not true. I've noticed him defensively. He's been very solid to this point of the season defensively. I'm more than willing to say this is a one-off, and Zach Jones is like the 7th or 8th defenseman. I'm not going to eat them alive. The offense looking mid as all get out is a problem, and again, they've got to start doing something. The second line can't just hard carry you the entire way through the season. They have been great, and they have done a wonderful job. And I understand that usually Mika and Kreider take a little bit to get going. They still got to find someone to pair with them on the right wing for the first line. The third line, I think, can get going. I like the thought of Kakko with Cooley and probably Hedel when he gets healthy. That's fine. The fourth line being Grinders is perfectly good. You're clearly missing Fox because not just from the fact that Fox is a very good player, but the other players that you're having to put in to substitute for him towards the bottom part of that cast, you'd need Fox back. Rangers have played wonderful for the first 15 games. They've looked great. They have exceeded all of my wildest expectations. And this is one game against a really, really, really good Dallas Stars team. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to overreact. It's one game. I am more than willing to call it a one-off for the team as a whole and move on to Wednesday's game against the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh for the second game of the road trip. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be here afterwards to talk about it. But as for right now, that is all I have to say. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Rangers.